Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're doing the 6th winter roundup today. It's really getting on with it now. We're getting well into November, so we'll do this video today. Then next week I'm hoping to do a roundup of the seasonal models, a final roundup of the seasonal models, seeing what they're showing for the winter of 2012-2013. And then the week after that I'm hoping to put it all together, the seasonal models and these roundup videos. I hope to put it all together and come up with a forecast, hopefully, for the United Kingdom for the winter of 2012-2013. Timing about this is a little bit uncertain, though, because the seasonal models don't all update at once, and they can be delayed towards, say, the 20th, 21st of the month, actually, before they update, in which case I won't be able to do the seasonal model roundup next week. So I've just got to wait and see how quickly these models update. Hopefully they'll update over the next few days and it'll be away we go next weekend, but if not, it'll be everything will be delayed by a week. So I'm doing the 6th winter roundup video today. We're looking at things like sea surface temperature anomalies, solar activity, snow cover extent across Eurasia, things like that. See how things are developing through the autumn. Of course, as I said last week, getting on really now to the crunch point of the autumn, coming up with these winter forecasts. So it is important to look at this quite closely and quite regularly now to see how things are going. Now, before I go on with the video, I just want to talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my web videos at gazweathervids.com. As you know, please play those videos. You'll be supporting gazweathervids.com if you do that. I know that you do play them. Keep playing them because you'll be supporting the website by doing that. Just want to mention the banner ad. If you've been finding some annoying redirects off the banner ad to other sites, other websites, I want to apologise for that. It appears to be a problem within the Google ad network, so I've taken the banner ad off. Hopefully that will resolve the problem for you. Right then, now let's get on with the video. This was, I should say, the situation last week when I did the video on the 1st of the 11th, 2012. We was looking at three things specifically, as you know, the ENSO region, the PDO, and the Atlantic. And what we said last week is that there was some signs of warming taking place through this central and western part of the equatorial Pacific. The PDO was cold, as it has been and will be mainly for the next 10-20 years or so. Of course, it'll moderate, there'll be fluctuations, and occasionally it'll still go warm into the warm PDO, but generally the PDO is in the cold phase now and likely to be for several years. And for the Atlantic, we said we've got a good tripole signal, warm, cold, warm bands. If anything, the tripole was looking even better than it has done over recent weeks. There was some strengthening of the warm anomalies here to the south of Greenland through the course of the last few days of October. And finally, this area here, we said this was interesting because the cold temperature anomalies, sea surface temperature anomalies between Iceland and Scandinavia can indicate some colder block type conditions up there in the winter, particularly in association with warm anomalies to the south of Greenland. So let's go on to the latest chart, and this is for the 8th of November 2012. And for the ENSO region, we can see there's been very little development at all, really. Go back. That was the situation on the 1st, go forward to the 8th, very little development. NOAA think that this El Nino is over. They're not looking at the chance of an El Nino now. They're taking down the El Nino watch. I think that's going to be the way of it. So my El Nino forecast from earlier in the year is a bust. We're not going to have an El Nino, I don't think, this winter. Quite amazing what's happened, really, the way it developed through the summer, July, August, September, and then just completely collapsed through October. And we see that the situation is still very similar to last week, no development going on. And of course, this has to peak by Christmas because it will start to fade away. Any El Nino that develops now has to peak by Christmas because it fades away then after Christmas in any case. So I really don't think it's going to happen. The El Nino is off the cards. We're looking probably at an ENSO neutral winter. PDO is still cold. It's not as cold as it has been at some points in the recent past, but it is still cold, and that probably at least partly explains why the El Nino collapsed. For the Atlantic, well, very good signal here. Tripole still going strong. Warm bands here for the tropical Atlantic. A colder band here in the mid-Atlantic. And this very warm band to the south of Greenland. Actually, this has strengthened even further in the past week. If we go back to the 1st, that was the temperature anomaly around and to the south of Greenland last week, going forward to the 8th. The anomalies have actually intensified here to the south of Greenland. So yes, we've got the tripole, we've got the warm, cold, warm. That should signal an increased probability of a negative NAO if it continues through into the winter. Going towards this area here from Iceland to Scandinavia, still quite cold, but not as cold as it was last week. That situation last week. Less cold anomalies up there. It has warmed quite a bit actually in the last week. So again, we've lost that, and it's something that seemed to be coming and going quite a bit. Went very cold up there in September, then it eased through October, cooled down a little bit again, and is now easing once more. So we'll keep an eye on that. But really, it's to the deep waters. This is quite shallow water up here, but it's to the deep waters in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean that we're looking, and that is a very good signal for a tripole. Now going forward to the solar activity, this is sunspot activity, and we see we have got some sunspot activity here, not a great deal, but there is some sunspots there developing. That one there is developing, I think, on our side of the solar disk. These other sunspots are around, but the activity is still very limited. I've explained this in other videos. We're coming up to solar maximum. It's going to be a weaker solar maximum than we have been used to probably for a century. And again, this is indicative of what we keep seeing in this solar cycle, cycle 24. Very limited sunspot activity indeed. So we can't say for definite that we're not going to see a huge increase in sunspots through the winter, but the likelihood is that we're going to keep generally quite weak solar activity, at least for the next few weeks, and probably well into winter. Of course, weak solar activity, weak sunspots does seem to correspond really with increased blocking for Europe. So putting it with the tripod, putting this together, that's building up a picture then that we have got an increased probability of blocking for Europe, possibly a colder than average winter. The stratosphere next, and the stratosphere is turning cold. It's really starting to cool down quite a lot now. This grey line here is the average of where the stratospheric temperature should be over the North Pole. This black line is where we are. It's cold in the stratosphere over the pole at the moment, and this, as I've explained in other videos, we have a cold stratosphere over the Arctic. It does seem to correspond with an increased polar vortex really over Greenland, over the North Pole, and that in turn seemed to correspond with more in the way of westerly winds, zonal weather, mild Atlantic driven pattern through mid-latitude. So this probably is telling us that we're looking at a generally quite a mild zonal type start to the winter, but of course it can change very quickly. We can quickly get stratospheric warming, and not everything is down to this in any case, but the stratosphere is one of the important factors to look at, and certainly this is one of the factors that really goes against certainly a cold start to winter. This doesn't tell us that the whole winter is going to be mild, of course. This just tells us really now about the start of December, which is perhaps favoured to be mild with more in the way of zonal westerly. But I emphasise not everything is down to the stratosphere. And then have a look at the ice extent and the snow cover across Eurasia. This was the situation last Saturday when I did the video in terms of the snow cover. We've got very decent snow cover here across northern Russia, very little across southern parts of Russia. And as we went up to Scandinavia, I said this was very good. We saw this lay through the latter part of October, and very good snow cover was still going on at the start of November here across Scandinavia. Going forward, where we see that the snow cover has been largely maintained across much of Scandinavia. Actually still very good snow cover. I think we may well see some of this melting though in the coming week, but how much it melts I'm not sure, but certainly very good snow cover here, still maintained across much of Scandinavia. This southern and western part of Russia still struggling to get any snow really going on. Ideally we would be starting to see some snow coming into this area here, but really it's this central part that's actually quite important, and that is still got decent snow cover, although it has been eaten away a little bit down here in the south. But really this is still quite a good signal, I think, to get the blocking going, particularly over Scandinavia. Still a nice signal there for quite a decent snow cover. In terms of the ice, well, the ice has filled in more. That was the situation last week. Going forward to now, the current situation, yes, ice has increased over the pole, as you would expect, but we're still below where we should be after that catastrophic melt season, and that can, although the evidence isn't good, but that appears to coincide. Perhaps less ice over the Arctic seems to coincide with increased blocking through the mid-latitudes into Europe. So everything's still going quite well, really. We've still got the tripole in the Atlantic. ENSO definitely looking like a neutral ENSO winter, so we've not got to worry about a strong El Nino or La Nina shaking things up and blowing everything apart. Definitely looking like a ENSO neutral winter now. Snow cover still looking very good over Scandinavia, although ideally we'd be starting to see it now beginning to back in towards the west of Russia. Solar activity still looking weak. That stratosphere is worrying for the start of winter. We are seeing a very cold stratosphere at the moment. Stratospheric temperatures over North Pole. That probably implies increased westerlies for the start of the winter, but that in no way implies that the whole of the winter will be mild, and that doesn't really affect the winter forecast. Actually, it just tells us where we're likely to be at the starting point of winter. So everything's coming along quite well. And we'll see how things develop over the next couple of weeks. We're getting towards the crunch time now. So I'm hoping to do the seasonal model roundup next week. It's dependent on how quickly those seasonal models update. If it's not next week, it'll definitely be the week after. And then the week after that, we're doing the full winter forecast. We're putting the seasonal models with all of these roundups, and we're doing the winter forecast to see exactly what I'm predicting for the winter of 2012-2013. So it's getting very exciting now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.